Okay, so as you all probably know by now, the first Sunday of the month, we have the Feast of Communion, and we also do an intergenerational Sunday, and that often means, always means maybe, that we need help with the sermon. So if you're a member of the kids' church, if you're young at heart, come on up here. We need help with the sermon.
All right, we'll just kind of scour.
It's going to be a little different today because we had a stage for the performance, but I think we can all just make it work right here, right? Hello, everyone. Hi.
Morning.
Good morning. How's everyone doing? Good? Nice. Well, so we are reading through the whole Bible this year, and we're talking about the books in it Sunday by Sunday. And this Sunday, we're talking about a story in the Bible about a man named Job. Have any of you ever heard of a man named Job in the Bible? Some of you, some no. Okay, well, we're going to talk about it a little today. This is a fairy tale about all of the ways that God works. And it's also about the ways that God does not work. So Job was someone who, our story tells us, was very nervous. He was very nervous about being right with God. And because he was very nervous about being right with God, he tried to make himself so small. He thought there were only very specific ways that he could live. And so he was, at the beginning of the story, he was squeezing himself and the people around him into a life that was not really big enough for him. He was trying to go through a very narrow way of living.
Right. I'm going to grab a microphone so you can hear me. So today, we need your help to show everybody what Job might have felt like making himself way too small instead of nice and big. So we have some clothes that are maybe a little bit too small, and we're wondering if you would help us try them on and see how that feels. Do we have any volunteers who'd be willing to help us? Levi, are you being volunteered? Ruby? All right, Ruby. See if you can get that shirt on. William, you want to try? All right, see if you can get that to fit.
You'll try. Try this one.
You want to try this one? See if you can get this to fit. That one's for you, Samson. Give that a try. All right, you can stand up. Here, stand up. Let's see. Face the grown-ups. Show them. How's it going for you? It's not quite fitting your head.
Oh, you're doing it, Charlotte.
Okay, Charlotte, how does that feel?
Horrible.
Not very good. Ruby, how does that feel?
Sort of embarrassing.
Not very good. Sort of embarrassing. How does that feel? Tight.
Well,
Samson, are you having any luck getting into that bathing suit? No. Okay, so my friends who are wearing clothes, can you do 10 jumping jacks for me right now?
2, 3, 4, 5.
How's that going?
7, 8, 9.
Not very good, huh?
You're stuck.
All right. Here, have a seat. Have a seat.
Yes, you can take this off.
It doesn't feel good to put ourselves, you can take it off. It doesn't feel very good to put ourselves into clothes that don't feel good or boxes that are too small for us. Have you ever tried to be something and somebody told you that you can't be that thing? Have you ever said, I'm going to be fill in the blank here, and somebody said to you, no, you're not. You can't do that.
How about you, grown-ups?
Doesn't feel very good, right? We know that we need space to grow and stretch and not put ourselves into too small of boxes like Job thought that he had to do.
Yeah. Job loved God. But he thought that the only way to love God, he thought that if he loved God, that meant there was only one way that he could live. And that was a way that made Job feel nervous a lot of the time. He was so worried that maybe he wasn't living well or doing things right, or that the people around him weren't living well enough. Has anyone ever felt afraid, like you were being judged about how you were behaving? Yeah? Yeah. How about you grown-ups? How did that feel? Let's show us when you feel like the people around you are judging you for how you're living. How does that feel? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Thumbs down, right? Right. So what is very cool about our story is that Job actually gets to talk to God. A lot of things go wrong in Job's life, and he thinks, is this because I wasn't living well enough? Is this because I wasn't following the rules? And he talks to God, and God talks back, and God says, this. God says, look at the ocean and look at the mountains. Look at these goats I made. The goats so high on the mountains. Have you considered the mountain goats I made? Have you looked at the stars and the vastness of space? Have you seen how big my creation is? Can you wrap your mind around it? And God says to Job, I bet you can't. I bet you can't wrap your whole mind around my creation. Have you seen the things that live at the bottom of the ocean? Have you considered the whale and the leviathan and those creatures of the sea that have that light bulb above their heads? Yeah? God says the world is big and vast and mysterious, bigger than you can imagine, and I love it, and I love you. And if my creation is this big, and this vast, and this complex, and has this many different kinds of things in it, you, Job, and all of us, you don't have to be small, and you don't have to be afraid. There are a lot of right answers for all the ways that you could live as your best self, in your very best you. You can be as big as you need to be, because if God can make mountain goats and zebras and sunsets and oceans and sea monsters and ostriches, God can make and love a lot of different types of people and a lot of different versions of you. Every version of you.
Okay, so we're going to practice being the best version of ourselves that we can be. And I have a trick, and I'll show you how it works. So everybody's going to do this all together. What I want you to do is reach your hands up above your head as high as you possibly can stretch them. All right, are they as high as you can possibly stretch them? Okay, now stretch higher. You did it! I watched those hands go even higher. You can put your hands down. When you thought that you had reached up as high as you possibly could, you could go even a little bit bigger. And that is what God is reminding Job about in this story. No matter how high you want to reach, you can. No matter who you are, no matter what kind of person you're going to be, God says, yes, do it. Because I made oceans and zebras and unicorns, and especially you. So when you think you've reached as high as you can, reach evil.
That God has about how to live well is to love ourselves, that we are capable in the world.